G'day, fellas. Welcome to another coaching session. We're here with Esty Pesty. Hello, hello.
Hi, how you doing?
I am doing wonderful. How are you doing?
Terrified.
You're terrified. Welcome. Well, it's okay for you to be terrified. That is perfectly normal. For anybody on stream who's wondering who that lovely voice is, that is the voice for Mr. Esty Pesty. So for anybody who doesn't know, if you look up the top of the stream chat, it'll come up with the gifted subs. And you actually do see at the very top, we've got the Esty Pesty. So I reached out to Mr. Esty Pesty and I said, hey, I'd like to do some more coaching, and I'd love for you to be a part of it, because I actually saw you playing a couple of games on stream, and I saw that you played Sweden, and I was very excited because I don't think I've done a coaching for any Sweden players before. So
Yeah,
very excited to have you here. Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, your experience with Age of Empires?
sure. So I mean, I only played vanilla up until I'd say like 4 or 5 months ago, and I used to play on a Mac. So there was no kind of community to play other people, and I was just playing AI and with a few friends, like literally 2 or 3 friends that were in the scene. And then when the kind of world went into lockdown, I got a chance to kind of take a gaming computer home from an office. So I set it up. I think I saw a couple of your videos, downloaded the DE, and got into playing kind of other people for the first time. So yeah, my first experience with any of the native civs or Asian civs was like pretty recent, and that's me. I've been playing probably like a ridiculous amount since.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Great to hear. I do know that your home city, your Swedish home city, I think it's like level 130 or 129 or something really high. So it's great to be part of the Cockroach family, and great to have you in that. Obviously, us Swede mains, we've got to stick together. All right. Well, if you want to start up your live stream, we'll do it through Discord, and then I'll watch you, and then we can get to it.
All right, I'm doing that now. I've been having like terrified visions that I'm going to like literally forget and start with 2 mills because I'll forget how to play because I'm so terrified. Are you seeing my screen now? Is that working?
Yeah, I am seeing your screen. Just give me a second. I'm just gonna make sure. Can you guys see that on stream? Is that coming up for you guys? Just a second. All right, should be coming up now for you guys. So I'm going to close Age of Empires Definitive. Our home cities look identical. I'm going to close the Definitive Edition. There we go. All right. Are these Rex or live? This is all live. So we're going to be doing it live. So Esty Pesty, if you want to head into... Or let's first start by having a look at your home city. We'll check out your decks. All right, so we're taking a look at your... I like that you've got Brit Japan decks as well. My Brit Japan decks.
Which is now just the deck.
Yeah. So, the exact same thing happened with me. I'm like, Brit Japan just became exactly what I'm going to do every game. All right, that's looking pretty good. I think that's quite a good deck. I like that a lot.
And then C, I've just got the caravels and privateers. Otherwise, it's the same. I think I got rid of the heavy cannons and I don't know, something else.
Yeah. My only suggestion would be potentially changing that TC card out with 1,000 wood.
Right.
Yeah. Have you considered that?
No, but that makes a lot of sense. I'll do that. That seems a lot more logical.
Yeah, I think that'd be quite wise because the 1,000 wood's a lot more flexible. And then you've got a deck called Boom.
Yeah, which isn't a boom. That's because the only way I know how to play the Dutch is to do a filthy church rush, which is this.
Oh, right. Can you do that anymore? I'm curious, because you don't have dominions, or do you just send the outpost forward?
Outpost forward, which I only learned recently from another player, and it's been pretty successful. I think I'm like 4-1 with it, but I mean, I'm only using it against Dutch, but I don't know how to beat Dutch regularly, so it's kind of a bit dirty.
Right, okay, cool. All right, well, you can save those decks, and let's head into some ranked games.
I mean, should I? Yeah. I found, by the way, just like maybe if it's relevant to mention that, like, that's my
oh, perfect, yeah.
Yeah, and I've been like bouncing very hard off like 1280 to 1300 is like the max that I feel I can't bounce past, and every time I hit that ceiling I just seem to crash pretty hard.
Yeah, so it's interesting to see. So you're you top 1,000 in 1v1 and then almost top 300 in team games. So I can see you play a fair bit of team games as well. But
That's
yeah.
because I'm playing much better than me. I think that's pretty
Oh, okay.
It's yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, yeah, let's head into a ranked game. So tell me a little bit about your standard build order, what it is like you would normally do in a game, let's just say against like any typical civilization that isn't Dutch.
Sure. Shall I queue in the meantime?
Yeah. Let's do a queue in the meantime. Hopefully it's a 2-minute queue.
Normally, I think it's pretty standard. I'd go 3 vills, 700 wood. If I can, then 600 wood to try and get up to max torp. Drop a thirst rax immediately on age.
Yep.
And then normally in Brittle Japan, try transition into leather cannons late age 2 or early age 3. Yeah, and then kind of play it from there. But I'd say that's hopefully not having to send units. But if I'm not sending 600 wood, I guess it's normally because I'm being forced to send leather cannons or a few cav.
Right. Okay. Well, that sounds perfect to me. That's essentially how I would play it. Yeah, that's good to hear. Vividly playing in the chat saying level 128 Swedish home city. You should be asking Essie Pesty for the coaching.
That makes it far more embarrassing. Just I know I'm going to lose my explorer in like 40 seconds, and this is just like you're going to see my cursor like shaking. This is terrifying. But yeah, no, that's an embarrassingly high home city. Yeah, I admit.
I'm curious. I know we can't really see it at the moment. Oh, we've got ourselves a game. Never mind. I can ask that question later. Looks like you're up against the D tier villager. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mute my mic. And we've got ourselves a Swedish mirror. All right, good luck. I'm muting my mic, and we're going to watch you from behind. And all right. We'll see how you go.
Oh boy. Okay.
All right, guys. It's just me and you. SD Pesty cannot hear us. So they're on Florida. So we'll see if he picks up hunting dogs early. He does start with enough res to do it. He doesn't have that in-base coin treasure though, so unlikely. But doing the right thing, just shooting that blowgunner. Correct thing. Lowest versus life, asking how much for coaching? Oh, you'd need to donate at least 100 subs. At least. I'm just kidding. So we've got the villager in queue straight away. Really good. And herding straight away. So honestly, everything is really good. Probably not that... I wouldn't be taking that deer hunt in just yet. No real need for that. This turkey should be enough. But looking really good on this starting hunt as well. I want to see these torps up really quickly. There doesn't appear to be like an optimal torp. And we don't have any torps up yet. The sooner we get that torp up, though, the better. So hopefully... Okay, there we go. There's the first torp. And the second torp. Now he's shifting it with the same villager. So I would be building it with 2 separate villages. That way you get them up sooner. Because the sooner they're up, the sooner they're going to start gathering, the more resources you're going to get. So he spots a 75 wood treasure. 75 wood is a little bit awkward for Sweden. It's not enough for a torp. It used to be enough for an extra torp that you could get. But now it's in this awkward spot where like even a 90 wood treasure isn't enough for Sweden. So now let's see. He hits the bounce shot. Does it quite well. Still hurting in this hunt. And now he's got his crack shot up. He's actually playing this really, really well. So let's see. Let's watch what he does. He's actually doing really well. Picks up that idle villager. He didn't have it hotkeyed, so he did actually tap it. So one of the things he's going to have to do is, yeah, he's going to need to bring his vills off that off that turkey, because that turkey's being used by both the torps. So now he's picked up that 75 wood, shift clicking it. Pretty good. I'm happy with his scouting route as well. He's doing the right thing. Does he go the water deck? He didn't go the water deck. It is a water map. And he's playing against Sweden. Sweden do have water cards, so he's got to be a bit careful with that turkey, though. I'm just worried about that. All right, now we've got 100 coin treasure. Does it look like he's going to be going for that? Kind of looks like he's shift clicking over the top of it. Oh, 100 food in the back of the base. He does click down there. Correct choice. 100 food is really, really important here, just because it's going to enable you to age up that little bit faster. Got to watch those turkeys. My main concern is those torps are going to be running out of food, but we'll touch base with that. The market start on this map as well gives you a good option. Now the villagers, look at his villagers. So his villagers have all gone onto that turkey right next to his town center, and as a result it means that all of them are going to be going idle when that finishes. So now look, he's got right now 7 idols, 8 idols, 7 idols. Okay, so this is something that can be avoided Oh, and that Discord that you just heard, that is not your Discord. That's my Discord. Don't worry. Do not be tempted by it. And he puts his Explorer into melee, correct, and gets it in there. So a little bit of early macro blues, but other than that, not too much. But definitely being reflected, because this is a 15 villager age up, and typically you would expect to see with a 15 villager age up that you should have almost no idle time with Sweden, but we've got about 180 food of idle time. So definitely something to work on there is that early game macro, but going to pick up this treasure. Aging up, let's see what he takes. Keep in mind, that is the Discord of SD Pesty. So we'll have to talk to him, see if we can get him on D&D. Oh, that Discord's coming in loud. Gosh. So now transitioning onto wood, a couple on food. Let's see if he picks up Gang Saw in transition. Guys, just so you're aware, maybe I can potentially mute him or mute his sound. Maybe that's an option. I don't know. I'm not going to be too worried. But if you do hear any more Discord notifications, I will let you know. So he's doing the right thing, sending his villagers out nice and early to get these torps down. He hasn't picked up Gang Saw. He's got enough resources for it, and he starts with the market. So looking at this build, a nice nice deck orientated towards the Fortress Age. Got a lot of flexibility. A lot of nice coin mines here as well. We've got 4 coin mines already discovered here. His opponent's probably going to have 5 coin mines safe. So top spawn on this map is considered the best spawn. You just do normally spawn with an extra coin mine. So quite a good map for the North player. Now putting down that second torp. Now I would, with my torping, I would be torping on separate mines. This is one of the things. So the way that you want to think about your torps is you want to have them down on separate mines. You want to try and keep all of your torps equivalent, or all of your coin mines with equivalent torps, so that when your 700 wood comes in, you've got space to put down all of your torps. Because right now, the way it's going to work is he might potentially run out of space, and here we spot the opponent's villager. SD Pesty was about to put down a torp, but I think he's realized. So now he's going to put down that Rax, putting it down in the correct position behind his town center, taking a little bit long to decide on that, and opting with the Philosopher Prince. I don't know whether that's meta. Now, taking a bit of time to send in his shipment. We're at 5 minutes here. Doing a great job of herding. Still don't have our market upgrades yet. Still got that shipment. So there we go. Shipment is now coming in. 700 wood on the way. Explorer in the north of the map. Looks like he's just found a sheep. Now we've got a Carolean in queue. Should be able to get a full batch of Carolean out with no trouble here. I really like this build. This is feeling really good, despite not taking the 2 cows and the 2 settlers. And so, see, we've got SD, again, putting down torps on these back mines. He should be going for the front. The front is going to be the most contested space. So if his opponent starts putting up torps on that coin mine that they're sharing, he's not going to have any space to put his down. But now we've got the 5 Caroleans coming out. He's going to put the 5th one. Hopefully he gets the Caroleans out over to his opponent. Yep. Oh, he is doing it. So bringing them out. So we see that second torp going up, as I mentioned. See, now that's 2 spaces that SD Pesty can't be putting down torps. So he's got to be a bit careful with that. 700 wood has arrived. Shipping down 600 wood behind this. But this is where I talk about not having enough space to put down torps. So on this coin mine here, we've got 4 torps that are down. Whereas if we only had 3 that are down... Oh, and the Caroleans are out already. Looks like he's probably going to lose that villager. Ideally, he wants to be taking out the villager of his opponent as well. Looks like he just misses that batch. So definitely I would say opponent's got the advantage at the moment, because he's got those 2 torps in the middle of the map. And it's a lot harder to siege torps than it is to prevent them. Opponent's Explorer doing quite well. I think the opponent's Explorer is distracting. So SD Pesty needs to bring in that Explorer, get it up there. He's going for that 4th torp now. Will he shift? He's going to shift down 2 torps on this back mine. Correct play. He's dropping down that second Rax as well, which I think is the right thing to do. I don't know whether we're going to see an Artillery Foundry out of him, but definitely falling out. Needs a bit more villagers on coin. This is where our builds sort of deviate. Instead of going for 600 wood in this position, I normally opt for the Ironworks now. Just primarily because Ironworks is going to enable you to avoid putting villagers on coin. Not training villagers at the moment. There we go. Villagers. SD Pesty doing well, honestly. The build is solid. Watergate 96 is also doing quite a solid build as well. That Explorer is still sitting and distracting, still getting free shots onto Caroleans. So I would like to see SD Pesty take that out, but obviously he's sieging down. Okay, and now we got Ironworks coming in. He's sieging down. It didn't look like he actually finished. So you see how SD Pesty's just put down 4 torps on that coin mine? That could have all been avoided if he was putting down... Oh, is he going to miss the batch? He might miss the batch. He misses the batch. So the best thing to do is to avoid shifting down all of those torps at the same time. Ideally, you want all of your torps being built at the exact same time by different villages. You want to have... Is he going to pick that up? He sees the Explorer, but he's just sort of leaving it. Interesting decision. I would just be putting one Carolean in melee and just tasking it to the Explorer. But Macro looking really good at this point. Taken down 2 torps, so I would say that he's got the advantage. Just needs to defend his own torps and own villages. He's got this batch coming out as well. This batch is going to look really good. Should be able to secure a 9 batch. So SD Pesty on point. Really, like at this point, I'm watching this and I'm thinking, realistically, like how does he improve from here? I'm thinking it's going to be on the small things, the nuances that are going to be really what he needs to focus on. He's going to need to focus on using hotkeys. And now we've got a little bit of a trade. Opponent's got quite a few more Caroleans in his mass. SD queuing up some more units. Now not opting for blueberries here, opting for HP. I would typically be opting for blueberries instead. And SD choosing not to take the fight. Probably a wise decision. And there we've got the blueberries coming in. Have I got my mic? I've got my mic muted, right? I do, I'm muted. He's on the ball. He knows what's going on. No villager in queue at the moment, but trades are looking pretty good for him. A couple of idle vills. Just move him onto anything. You've got to be focusing on that fight, SD. A great opponent is falling back. Looks like we're finally going to be able to take out that Explorer, potentially. No, we're not. Opponent is falling back. The SD's looking really good at this point. 190 torp population as well. Hopefully, I'd like to see him transition over to leather cannons now that blueberries are coming in. So that means moving a whole bunch of villagers onto wood, getting down that foundry. Very dangerous to put that calf. And, oh, great job with the herding as well. And blueberries is now in with 190 torp pop. Really good blueberries. Finally going to be taking down that Explorer. Please tell me you take down that Explorer, SD. Please don't let him just keep meleeing you and harassing you. Oh my gosh. All right, we got to talk about that Explorer.
Oh no.
Oh no. What's SD Pesty noticed? He's noticed something. He said, oh no. I don't know what he noticed. I don't know what he did. Did that Explorer didn't go down. Oh my god, that Explorer didn't go down. All right, but he's still looking in a good spot. I think he might be looking for a potential age up at this point. I think that's what it is, what he's macroing for. We can see we've got that 20 vills on food. That one villager shooting the hunt away. It's going to go towards the water. I can see it on the minimap moving towards the water because he's tasked too many villagers onto the same hunt. Now opting to age up. So he's got those in queue. He's got the Caroleans. Let's see. Does he sell? He could sell sell food right here to age up just that little bit faster. Not a bad idea. He's also up in score slightly. Now finally aging up. He's got a shipment that's about to drop in. Let's check and see our opponent. Opponent doesn't look to have any leather cannons either. That villager is very dangerously chopping wood. Now got some more in queue. So hopefully when he hits age 3, either he drops down a second barracks or he is getting his market up. So that's a good thing. A little bit late with these market ups. I would have loved... Okay, that villager did go down. I would have loved to have seen it, the market ups, when he first aged up. But opponent, like, because SD's aging up, he's doing the right thing. Now, this is a very bad position for Artillery Foundry. Artillery Foundry, you want behind the TC. Because if your opponent is pushing with artillery and you've got Culverin on the way, your Artillery Foundry potentially will go down. So, got to be really careful. Another thing that I'm noticing is that his batches aren't synchronized. So, we've got an issue right now where, because his batches aren't synchronized, only one of them is training a Carolean instead of both of them training the Carolean. So he needs to get them both training Caroleans. So now they're both training Caroleans, but now they're not synced. We've got the 2 leather cannons coming in behind as well. So he should ideally be avoiding fighting right here. Even though he does have a bigger mass, it's best to avoid fighting this because... Oh, and going into charge. I think this is a bit of a mistake. Oh, he's going for the leathers. He can't get through. Oh, he got through the pathing. Okay. I think he's in a good spot. The leather cannons are going to come out of his artillery foundry, and it just starts doing work straight away. 2 falconets are also in. Let's see if he picks that up. He also ships blackberries. Very greedy. I love it a lot. Falconets on the wrong side, though. They are... Hopefully they don't bug out when it comes to pathing, but this is what I was talking about, where we should have waited for the fight. So ideally, we wait for the falconets to come in. Once the falconets are in, it's going to be a lot easier. Look at the score difference now. Watergate is up by about 2k, just because he got quite an effective trade there, when ideally he shouldn't have been getting such a good trade. Now, Esti is also getting the veterancy upgrade. You just realize he's training a grenadier. So he's getting the veterancy upgrade. Ideally, you want to be prioritizing that. As soon as you hit the age up, veterancy upgrade immediately. That's what you got to do. And so, I mean, now the tempo is definitely shifted in favor of Esti Pesti, but take a look at that score. 16k versus 13k. Where is that score? That score probably, I would say, is in units. All those extra units. Oh, that villager, that poor villager. Remember when we saw that hunt and I said that's not a good idea? That's what I was talking about. That villager is going to be idle for the rest of the game because she's stuck in that trading post. Scores still looking relatively close. 14k versus 16.5k. Sieging down these torps. It's going to feel good, definitely. Got a lot of siege. Unpacking. No, good. He's picked up the Falc's unpacking. I'd love to see him dropping down a third barracks at this point and really trying to go all in on these 2 falconets and a whole bunch of upgraded Corollians. His opponent is now age 3. And what do we go? He goes 5 hussars, so probably anticipating his opponent's going to be calling in 2 falconets with this. So you could be going like snaplock instead. I would probably be going snaplock just because I'd be going all in. I think he should definitely be adding in that 3rd Rax. We've only got the 2. We can see that he's very easily able to keep up. He's got the economy to do it. Hopefully he can pick a fight with his opponent right here. Or pathing is not the best right now. Opponent has now upgraded his Corollians. The falconets are in as well. But he loses both of his leathers for free. And a culverin behind, a culverin as well. This is a turning point in the game. Opponent has got a culverin. We've scouted that out. Esti Pesti's just got to try and get away. He's doing the right thing. The way that he's scooting back. And once he gets the cav up there, he's going to be in a better spot. But I think he's somewhat outnumbered at the moment. Culverin definitely look like they're doing work. Definitely outmassed. This is really coming down to the fact that he decided to take the fight. The falconet firing at the torp as well. So 2 shots now at the torp. That could be 4 units that are dead. There's the 3rd shot coming in. Second falconet has died. Both of the enemy falconets are up.
Oh my
and
God.
For whatever reason, the hussars never got the command movement in there. Esti Pesti's still got a pretty decent force. I still think he should commit to this, especially with the 5 hussars coming in. But macro going a little bit out the wazoo at this point. Probably needs to be focusing slightly more on wood. Getting that, and that villager's still stuck. He doesn't realize he's going to tell the villager that's stuck to build the barracks. I wonder if that fixes it. But I would, at this point, I'd be going light gun carriages. Look at all the food that you've got. Just get out a big batch of. You got to really use light gun carriages to make your macro better. So you just grab all those villagers, put them on wood. This villager, now he's realizing. Now he realizes. But that barracks is still sitting there. That barracks still sits there. He needs to get this light. Oh, he's going snaplock. I think this is the wrong decision. He doesn't have a mass big enough to really get much from snaplock. I don't know whether his opponent has seen the hussars yet, but he might be able to go pull off a little bit of a raid with it. Ideally, at this point, he needs to be putting all these vills onto wood. So he needs to be focusing on his macro. He needs to realize, I've got 2,000 food right now. I need to balance this out. I need to be spending this. How can I spend this? Well, I've got leather cannons. 5 leather cannons. That's 1,500 food. I can do that. And then queue some Corollians and you're back to good. So that's what I want to see right now. And then you've got to try and synergize that with your card choices. Hussar coming around from the north. Ideally, I'd love to see it looks like the Hussar probably picking off the wrong units here. We don't have any artillery coming out at the moment, so no point in picking off the Culverin. I would prefer these to be picking off the Falconets. But yeah, I think at this point, it's going to be very hard for Esti to come back. I'd love to see him using the formation as well, because he is fighting up against those Falconets. Not sure how his opponent is so far ahead in score. It does seem strange. And Esti Pesti finally realizing putting some leather cannons in queue. Needs to be selling 500 food and buying 400 wood at this point and just getting a whole batch out. That would be a really good way to turn the tide here. But he's just going to lose those leather cannons otherwise. I think he's in a tough spot. He's got 2.5 resources. I think that these are really, really small things, but definitely going to be able to fix.
Oh, man.
Well played. Honestly, I think he played quite well.
very not well played. Oh God.
I think you did very well. Definitely a couple things to note from that game. So obviously you'll be able to watch this back and hear everything I'm saying. But the first thing I noticed was because you are starting on Florida, you've got that market. So
Yeah.
so don't be afraid to get early market upgrades. Normally, like I will delay my market until like 9 or 10 minutes once I've got max torps. You start with a market here. So don't be afraid to get gang saw in transition. That's the wood upgrade. Don't be afraid to get hunting dogs as well early in the game. Then the other thing that I noticed was herding. Herding could have been a little bit better in the very early game. Ideally, I think you had about 1 or 2 animals that your villagers were on. So I would have liked to have seen maybe 3 or 4, just because you had 8 idle villagers at one point. Then the big part was that you took a fight that you shouldn't have taken. So you had aged up to the 3rd age, and you had your 2 falcons on the way, and your opponent pushed in, and you fought him. You should have been waiting. The primary thing that you needed to do was you needed to wait for your opponent. So you needed to wait for your veterancy to come in, and you needed to wait for your 2 falconets to come in. That, for me, that's the biggest thing. The second biggest thing from this is the macro. So in the late game, obviously you can see you've got 2,500 food floated at the moment. So
which was probably enough in the fight in the middle if I macroed differently.
Yeah, so you had a whole bunch of idols down the bottom, and you sent them all down to a hunt. And I was like, no, send them to wood. You can build leather cannons with it. Because, you know, if you just stuck, say, 15 villagers on wood, you could have had 10 leather cannons out very easily. Like 2,500 food is enough for, 8 leather cannons? And if you'd shipped light gun carriages as well, then you would have definitely been able to turn the tide 100%. I reckon you would have just stomped it with 8 leather cannons. People don't really know how to counter leather cannons, and to be honest, that's probably because you can't actually counter them. They're very, very strong, fight really well pound for pound. But I mean, other than that, how did you feel that you did? Obviously, you don't think you did the best.
Oh no, I mean, I feel I made a lot of mistakes I normally wouldn't make. I think I was just like quite panicky, and I don't think I mean normally I would have seen that I'm floating those resources. The one thing, I mean, like I know a lot of the mistakes that I made. One of the things that I'm unsure of is when I saw that he hadn't aged, and I had the Falcons and the leather cannons. Did I make? I feel like I might have, but I'm not sure. Made a mistake taking down Torps and not just pushing straight in at that point when he would have been lacking counters.
It can be a little bit hard. It can be a bit hard depending on the skill of the player, but ideally what you want to be looking for is an artillery foundry. So even if you had your explorer out scouting for an artillery foundry, I think that's quite a reasonable thing. His artillery foundry is positioned quite well, so I don't think you would have got too much out of that. But you can go for military production buildings. Typically, though, I do like to go for the torps in the early game, and then once I've aged up and your opponent is behind, then you want to be going for Raxes. And it seems a little bit strange, but I always go for the back racks first if they've aged up, because that's normally where they're going to be researching their veterancy upgrade, and you want to stop that from happening.
Okay. Yeah, I mean I felt this is like a player that I really should be beating. But,
yeah. So Don saying saying something very good in chat. He's saying you can't fix 10 things at once. The most important thing to learn from this game is don't take a fight before you have everything ready. You got to wait for your veterancy, and you got to wait for your 2 falconets before you fight. And I think Don's on the money with that. Very, very true. I just realized that whole time. I think our chat's been a little bit over to the right, so we might move it over just a little bit, so it's not just a small stream thing. That's all. Hopefully,
you see my 3rd racks didn't go up because he got stuck in the post. I didn't realize the whole game that the villager was stuck in the TP. I mean, I still would have lost. But.
Yeah, I saw that. So it happened because the animal carcass was in the TP socket, and then the villager was tasked to the animal carcass, and obviously she went in without a hesitation, and then she couldn't get out. So yeah, that was I couldn't believe that like you built it with that villager. I was like, no, not that villager. But look, I honestly think you did really well. Like watching you play. The other big thing that I want you to start doing is using hotkeys. Noticing that you're not utilizing hotkeys when you should be. So
I always played without any hotkeys, and so like until 3 weeks ago, and I didn't even know what hotkeys were until watching your videos, and So now the only ones I'm using is for the TC, and then I'm using control groups for the reps and stuff. But yeah, I know I need to know more, but I'm finding it really difficult to kind of get into the habit of using them.
Yeah, I don't expect you to pick that up overnight. It's something that can take time to learn, but it's definitely something to put down on the list of things to focus on. All right, well, did we want to jump into the next game?
Sure.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like you did that quite well. Yeah, I'd be pretty happy with that. It's just those small things.
Well, I felt there was a point in the I was ahead, and I mean I knew he was going to ship Colves as well, so I feel pretty bad I didn't predict that. Also, I don't know what I was doing with the Corollian charge that didn't seem to do a very good job at all trying to get into their lane cannon.
Yes, they got bugged out with the Torp. So the way the Torp was placed against the coin mine, they tried to run through the Torp and the coin mine, and they got stuck on the berry bush.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I mean micro, I feel like I definitely need to work on a lot, which will be way more apparent if I play kind of like the Dutch. I really struggle.
Yeah. Dutch are a very difficult matchup for Sweden. I'm not sure if you saw, but I actually played a game on stream against Night Scream. Did you watch that game?
I mean, I won't remember the specific. I would have watched it.
It
yeah.
was he was playing Dutch. It was on Kamchatka. It was, I think, 1 or 2 days ago, and I was playing Sweden. I spawned in the north spawn, and obviously he's playing Dutch. But I did the double stable strategy.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like that works a real charm. I love that a lot. Okay. So I think here I might just give like a little bit or I might mute my mic for you, but then like if I see anything big, I'll point it out to you, okay?
Yeah, sounds good.
All right. I don't think I've got a hotkey to mute my mic. Oh, actually I can just do it over here. Okay, perfect. Oh, we've lost quality right here, haven't we? What happened there? What just happened to our quality, guys? Don't worry, that's not your stream, that is my stream. Okay, sorry, we just lost quality. I think I've managed to fix it up, so hopefully that is all good now.
Oh.
Sorry, we're all good, don't worry. Apologies.
You good?
Yeah, all good.
Okay.
All right. So we're looking for that optimal Torp. So he's identified it. He has identified that is the best Torp spot. It picks up both trees. But the second Torp spot would have been this one just here. That would have been the best spot. So does he go for a water deck? He does go for a water deck. So he needs a frigate on this map, but he doesn't have frigate in deck. So a little bit tough, but shift clicking that Torp again. So just remember, so we're only going to chime in if we see something going wrong at a macro level. At this micro level, we're not too fussed about it, okay? Because this is something that's going to take time to really talk about. When it comes to decision making, that's going to be the stuff that we're focusing on. Using the Torp to shoot the herd, really good move. I love this.
That was pretty bad herding.
You save villager seconds. Yes, it was bad herding, but you saved those villager seconds. And to be honest, I would have done that exact same thing. Going for an 80 XP treasure, really good idea. Before the first shipment, but by the time he picks this up, it's going to be too late. So not as valuable as it could be. So that's one thing to consider. Is he going to crack shot the second minion? It does look like he is. So not losing a lot of health. French native scout coming in as well, scouting this out. So he needs to keep herding. I'm going to tell him. Let me get it over here. You want to make sure that you're herding your initial hunt that you started off with as well. Make sure that one comes in closer.
Okay.
He's got to get that one in, but he's shift clicked it. So that was a bit of a mistake there because as he was shift clicking it, the animal moved and look where it went.
It didn't go much close. That wasn't a very good herd.
But. Yep, that was a shift click right there. So that's why you got to be so careful of that shift click. That shift click is absolutely unforgiving. So now that hunt has moved even further away. So the second hunt's going to become the first hunt by the looks of it. And look at all these vills now going idle in the base, doing a little bit of a walk around that town center. Opponent has picked up a trading post, so looking like they're going to do a 12-10. So early age up, it's a good sign that they're probably going to be aggressive in the early game. Let's Let's see where it goes with this. So heading down towards this. I would have liked to have seen him head over to his opponent's side. But I guess that's a bit of a micro thing rather than a macro thing. So really, really good timing on that. Doing a wonderful job on the herding. I think both of those are going to be able to collect from that. Now going up, I think he went up with the 500 food again instead of going up with the 2 villages and making the correct choice to transfer everybody over. I don't think he scouted all of his mines. I think he scouted his 4th and his 5th mine, but the 3rd mine is still a little bit to the west. I'm not going to tell him that. Scouting is a little bit of a... I guess it's more of a micro thing. So now he's on the very open right area. This area here. What else have we got? Actually, I've got a coffee. I might just quickly sip this, fellas. Checking the deck. What do we got? He's got Spice Trade. No water cards, so a good thing for him. Oh, that coffee is absolutely delicious. So let's see if he puts down... Oh, yes, good. Okay, he's done 1 torp on each coin mine. Picks up the coin treasure outside his opponent's base. The market going down. This is quite a late market from the French player. Typically, you'd expect this in early transition. It's quite late transition, so maybe the opponent has gone up with more villages. It is 406. I would have expected them to have been up by now. So this is actually a really good thing. The fact that he's putting up these torps on the furthest coin mine, a good thing. Oh, that's an 80 food treasure? No, it's a cub. Okay, there's another treasure that's right there. He's about to walk over it. Okay, it's just a healer, so nothing too important. Scouting out the opponent, doing a really good job. Opponent's still not up. This is weird that he's taken a trading post. Why is the opponent taking a trading post? Yeah, this is quite curious. So now he's up. He's tasked a villager there. 700 wood coming in. Let's see where he puts that racks down. Hopefully away from the pond. On this map especially, you want to keep things away from the pond. But looking really good so far. 260 coin in the bank, so that's more than enough to get the first batch out. You'll get first batch and an additional Carolean on that. But still hasn't scouted this coin mine that should be behind his base, just in that black space. You see where the Explorer is on the minimap? I think there's a coin mine in there. So it's one of the things where you've got to really learn the map, know what the map is about. The barracks should be up at this point. Oh, it's not. There we go. Let's see. Does he get the Carolean in queue straight away? He does. Wonderful. And now putting up those additional torps. I want to see him spreading out those torps more. Really focusing. Maybe bring a villager down. Ideally, what you want to be doing is do about 3 villagers gathering up this. And that's what he's done. He's pulled in 4. That's pretty good. Gathering up those crates. So I want to see. So this villager here, he's going to drop down the 4th torp. But then he's going to have to walk. Okay, look at all the wood that we've got gathered up. And this is the consequence of not balancing it out, but at the same time you're doing it on a very far away mine, so it's kind of a good thing because it's a bit more risky that way. Now putting out the second batch, going straight to the outpost, or straight to the trade post, so really wise decision here. Coming back to do these other torps. I don't mind the shift click. He actually is exploring behind his base, so should find the coin mine. Hopefully there's a coin. There's the coin mine. Okay, I was going a bit crazy there. Where is that bloody coin mine? There it is. Have no fear, the coin mine is here. Now this is, I wonder if he's done this intentionally. He's put his villagers onto a sheep, and when the sheep dies, the villagers will go idle and hopefully just pick up the wood crates immediately. He won't even have to think about it. Let's see if he notices. Oh, he's just going to task vills onto it. Never mind. Now the rest of the Caroleans are moving out. The enemy's explorer is there. Hopefully he doesn't ignore it. Quite a fair bit of food at this point, and bringing those additional villagers down to continue adding torps. I like to see it. He's actually put a few vills on coin, which is the right thing. Correct move. No, yes, no, kill the opponent's explorer. He wants to build more trading posts, it looked like. No vills in queue. Oh, vills in queue now. Alright, so he wants to bring the front Caroleans back. So that's still a good fight, but you want to try and micro. You don't want to just take those fights. You want to be focusing down your opponent's units. He needs to be focusing. Okay, he's killed 2 Hussars, it looks like. So really good start. The fact that his opponent opened Hussars is great. He needs to be dropping down more torps on this back coin mine as well. He doesn't have anything. But putting down market, pretty good spot for a market. But it looks like he shift clicked it. So they're not going to build the market. Or actually, no, it does look like she is. Never mind. Other villager. Someone in the chat asking what ELO is he? Yeah, he's about 1190, I think, at the moment. He's just lost a game. But about 1200 ELO. We'll call it 1200. Really pretty good job so far, honestly. If I was watching this from Noosh, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, I say that, I don't say that ironically, but obviously the village is getting caught out here. They should be fine when the Caroleans pop out, if he gets max Caroleans, but we've got the Caroleans off sync. for whatever reason, the opponent giving up on that. Bringing the Carolians back, I don't think that's a wise choice. I think it's probably a bit more wise to push forward. But training up pikemen at this point, not a good idea. I don't like pikes at all as Swedes, unless you're going for a specific pike strategy. I think this might be a bit accidental. I think it could have been like an accidental click. It was an accidental click. We can tell from that sound. So far at a macro level, it's looking good. Ideally, I want to see a few more villages on wood. Just really max out those torps. I want to see 200 torp population. Now, fortunately, it's the last mines to be torped are the ones in the base, which is the correct move. Now, keep in mind, I'm still muted at this point, so he's not hearing much, but he's macroing well. Blueberry's now coming in, but we should be at 200 torp pop. Blueberry's feeling a little bit slow because we did go the 600 wood. I don't think he missed that. Oh, so not paying attention and as a result losing a few units here. No villager in queue at the moment. More Carolians coming over. So because he split up his Carolians and he pushed at the same time, so we'll call that quite a big macro error. I probably should have pointed that out to him that, you know, don't push with your Carolians when they're split like that. It's best to avoid that. Still got an idle TC at the moment, so definitely something that needs to be worked on. And once again, losing Carolians unnecessarily. I'm not going to say anything. I don't want to distract him at the moment. Got that high rate of fire on the Carolians. Hopefully they're going to take out Hussars. Looks like they're getting some pretty good DPS in, honestly. And the huge batches coming in now. Still idle TC. Honestly, at this point, I feel like just having 3 or 4 villagers queued up is just going to be reasonable. And then cancel them when you don't need them anymore. Still no training. Probably at this point, you could just market sell 500 food and just age up. I don't think that would be a bad thing, just with the amount of food that he's got at the moment from the income. I think he's SD Pesty at the moment has also got hunting dogs researched. He's up to 2,000 food now, so really got to be careful with this. He wants to avoid happening what happened last game. I'm just going to let him know. Don't be afraid to reallocate villages when you notice that your macro might be a little bit off. You've just done that, so well done.
I'm wondering now whether to age up, because I'm thinking to age or to keep making. I think I'm going to age.
I think, yeah, aging here is the correct play.
Okay, that's I think that should be pretty deadly in this situation.
To be honest, you're probably even in a position to go industrial. Just looking at the way that the game is playing out at this point. I suspect your opponent's not going to be able to push out. I don't know if that's me backseating too much, but yeah.
Yeah, I think yeah, okay. I don't know why he's not switched to crossbow, but he's not, so that's good.
Yeah, I think it's good that your opponent is still going Musk Husk, because you can just spam full Carolians and you're going to be fine against him. At the moment, everything looking fine though. I'll mute my mic again.
Okay.
All right, so Artillery Foundry now going down. Correct play. We've still got those Carolians coming out, but we don't have vet Carolians being researched yet. Opponents only got 1 TP, so big mistake from the French player in this matchup. Typically, the French player is going to have the advantage. We see quite a large mass of units to the north. I don't know what that is. Probably Hussars. They are moving quite quickly, and they didn't stop to burn down the torps, and if they were pikemen, they probably would have been doing that. So now we've got the veteran Carolians on the way. Still idle TC. Definitely got to work on this idle TC. Needs to be subscribing to the website. No idle TC. But 2 falconets on the way. So once I'm going to actually say this. So keep in mind your opponent is still in age 2. Once those 2 falconets arrive, you're going to have a massive tempo advantage. So the best thing to do, head to your opponent's base. See if you can potentially get their town center down before they age up themselves. But if you can't, just take out those military production buildings and protect your falconets at all cost. Make sure you rally your barracks to your opponent's base and just keep making units, keep making vills, and you're going to be fine.
One more barracks won't hurt.
All right, I'm muting Mike again.
Okay.
All right, so definitely in a good spot. So his opponent has now aged up. So ideally, he just wants to be... just be very careful of the opponent's 2 falconet shipments. Picking up a couple villages here. Not too bad at all, especially because they're French villages. 44 Corollians, definitely nothing to sniff at this point, and be sending in the Explorer. The Explorer just woke up, send him in. Send him in melee, just go and try and scout that out. But we've got a Rax there, doing a nice little pull trick. He just has to be careful with the Falconets. I'd be moving up these Falconets a little bit closer to the Rax, just so I can siege the Rax with my Corollians as well. So doing a bit of a drag box there. Just got to be careful of potentially getting flanked. I'm just watching the minimap. I'm very scared right now that he might get flanked. So with that Rax going down, probably not going to have veteran muskets coming out for the opponent. Let's see what he goes. So opting for health, I would have gone for Snaplock at this point. Was that Falconets that we just saw out the back of the TC? Doesn't look like he's going to be getting flanked just yet. Opponent now got some units out there. Macro's a little bit off at the moment. I'm not gonna. Oh, he spots the units. Those are Culverin. Those are Culverin. Get your Falcs out. Get your Falcs out. Get your Falcs out. Falcs are down. So bit of a micro error there. So second Falconet now getting shot down, but the town center does go down. So pretty big win. A lot of units sieging when units should be fighting. Falconets do go down. So didn't pull that back down. That was a micro mistake. Macro's still looking okay at this point. I honestly think you should be committing. I'm just going to let him know. I think at this point you've got quite an advantage. I think you should probably commit.
Okay, fine. Yeah. I saw the Falcons. I was thinking about just making a couple of cults, but I can go in.
Yeah, I think you should go in and just stick a couple of villagers in melee, or a couple Corollians in melee. I don't think you need to stick a lot. Maybe just 10 should do. Actually, that is quite a few Falconets. Never mind. Oh.
It's okay.
You do you.
It's okay. And the Explorers there, which is really fucking up the micro.
You got to try and take those Falconets down. Try your best. See if you can just get a couple Corollians into melee.
I still think I'm okay. Yeah, I meant to. Oh, is he not in melee? Okay.
Oh my god, I didn't. I thought there was only 2 Falcs. I didn't realize that was 3 Falconets.
I still think it makes it more fun to come back now. I think I'm okay.
I think you're still okay. Yeah. Yeah, I think you're fine. I want you at this point to try and focus on your macro, focus on what you need. So you want to, focus on building up that composition, Falconets of your own, as well as leather cannons, and Corollian masses.
Oh, okay. So I'm lacking wood. I've got a couple of. I still think I'm okay.
All right, I'm gonna mute Mike again. All right, so that didn't go perfectly, guys. I didn't realize that there was 3 Falconets there. I thought there was only 2 Falconets, and you can overcome 2 Falconets, but 3 Falconets is a lot harder because you need to think about it from a perspective that is a Falconet that's freely firing that entire time. But when you've got a mass that big, he had about 50 Corollians. That's enough to overwhelm 2 Falconets. 3 Falconets, different story. So, gosh, it's not looking good right now. For anybody at home watching on YouTube, don't do what I just told Pesty to do. Not the best. But he's still looking good at the moment. I think he is ahead. He's got 2 town centers up. He's got all the infrastructure that he really needs. His opponent doesn't have the TP line. He shipped his blackberries as well. What's he got? What card is he going to go for? Hopefully he goes for Snaplock. I want to see him go for Snaplock. He went for Snaplock, yes. Great. I literally just put my hands up in the air. I was like, yes. That's my boy. So going for Snaplock. And the question now is what does he need to do to win this game? And I think he's doing everything that he needs to do. Just continue massing. He's going to have a stronger economy than the French player because he's got those torps up. He's got, how many torps? 16 torps up right now. So ideally, I'd like to see him max out those torps. And really, whether even just putting them on on some trees or something like that, it's fine. Just get your torp out because it's going to be consuming that blueberry bush, and it's going to take, I think, at least 5 minutes for it to do that. So it's basically free resources that you get, and you're going to need those houses at some point in the game eventually, so you might as well get them now. But macro is looking quite good this game. I'm quite happy with how he's macroing. Definitely focusing on that a lot more, so that's good. And putting walls up. I like these walls as well. These are great walls. This is exactly what you want to be doing on New England. New England is a very compartmentalized map. It is a map that has got different areas that are fighting, and you can very easily wall that off with the native trading post creating even more choke points. So I would just be careful. I would say this isn't an overwhelming amount of artillery. I wouldn't say it's enough. But only 35 villagers at this point. He needs to continue training villagers and continue... I'm actually going to let him know. So continue training villagers as well. Don't forget that. Maybe even just chuck one in each, or an extra one for each town center as well.
Okay, yeah. Is this? I mean, is this a good point where Okay, should I be doing it? Should I not be asking? But like, I'm thinking like a couple of culverins just.
Yeah, culverins are a great idea. It's a preemptive thing. You know that your opponent's got an artillery foundry. He's made plenty of artillery before. He's probably going to be making more artillery. So I think it's a smart move to be making culverin here.
Okay.
Yeah, but at the same time, don't forget your Corollians. Keep your Corollians coming in. You've got plenty of population space. Your resources are macroing. And don't be afraid to use the market. I don't think I've ever seen you use the market to sell or buy resources yet. So you can do that as well.
Okay. Thanks. I'll do that.
All right. I'm going to mute Mike.
All right. This is it.
All right, guys. We're back. Macro still looking relatively good. I'm happy as long as it's under 1,000. It's not too bad. All right, I'm pretty satisfied with this mass. Score's looking relatively good at the moment. Pesty is just slightly ahead. I think at this point, like the best thing he can do is now that he's got the culverin out, he doesn't have a frigate that he can ship to his opponent's pond. I'd be going light gun carriages here because he does have, I think, 4 leather cannons. I'd be going for light gun carriages here and even potentially looking for an age up, but doing the right thing here, scouting out. Oh, there's some dragoons from the enemy there as well. Getting a good volley off. I don't know why the opponent is building dragoons against Sweden. He needs to be bringing... I'll let him know. Make sure you're bringing all of your units up here with this push. I understand that you have quite a few that are still idle down the bottom. Yeah, so make sure you bring those up as well.
Oh boy.
Yeah, you got quite a few units.
Yeah, this is where this is where life gets complicated.
Yeah, so because you're about to go into battle, don't be afraid to just queue up 3 villages in the town center, in each town center.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to mute Mike again.
Okay.
All right, so you can see walls going up from the opponent there, really trying to delay it. Pesty's got to be careful with the way that he pushes in here. Very easily can get all of his stuff picked off. Definitely got to work on army management for SD Pesty. At the moment, I can see he's having a little bit of a tough time managing his army. He's got a lot of units, and it can be tough when you've got, you know, as Sweden, when you've got a composition of 4 different units, and 3 of them are artillery types, all needing micro. Looks like the opponent's... Oh, the culverin... First culverin goes down. Let's see if he micros on the second culverin. I think he's got his Corellians on stand ground. Oh, that's a lot of Falcons back there. He needs to bring those Culves up, or the Culves are coming up. He's got reinforcing Falcons as well. So the first Culve's gone down, or the second Culve's gone down. A lot of Falcons back there. Does he pick them off? Oh, that volley! He's got to be so careful. He needs to be bringing his culverin up here, okay, and guarding the culverin with the muskets to prevent them from dying, and then keep killing the falconets with the culverin. Which he's doing, but he's pulling them out at the moment. Oh, that volley was so big. I think at this point he probably needs to start thinking about industrial. I don't think he's got 1,000 coin in his deck though. It's going to be hard for him to hit industrial. The thing is, he can very easily still win this, but it just really comes down to control and making sure that he has got the correct army control. He's just got to push in with his culverin. He's now giving his opponent time to get culverin again, the 3rd batch of culverin, and so that's where it's going to be hard. So dropping down the first mill now, still needs to be making those villages. I'm just going to let him know once again. Don't be chuck in a few more villages as well for your TC.
I'm so embarrassed by how this is going. This is like turning into the most new game that I feel like I should have won. Like,
no, that's okay. That's all right. I think that you're doing all the right things at this point. Maybe he's got a trading post, so maybe go apply some pressure to the trading post.
Why have I done that?
Do you have 1,000 coin in your deck?
No, but I was thinking of something copper mines and then aging.
Yeah, correct choice. That's what we want. We want you to try and get to the 4th age because we need you to get factories in as soon as possible. All right, muting Mike.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, so he needs to keep making villages at this point. He's hitting 1,800 food. So I think transitioning over to mills is the right thing to do. He's training villages as well, so that's good. Maybe even putting up a third TC potentially. Maybe taking the trading line. Oh my god, my mic is muted, guys. I'm telling you, my mic is muted. He's on the money with this. But then potentially buying back the Explorer or just with these. So these need to be going in between the torps. Oh, okay. Big error, but that's okay. That's okay. So instead of them being here, they need to be in these torps, so the torps can gather them as well. It's not a huge amount, but when you've got ironworks, it's still significant, right? Like that it's resources that you're losing otherwise. Now I don't think he's got the market upgrade for his villages to gather coin either. Oh, look at that, on the ball, literally. Like, I'm telling you, man, I genuinely think SD Pesty has, like, he's a good player. He's just got to refine his play style. He knows he's thinking the right things. He's doing all the right things at the moment. It's just, we've just got to get that refinition in. I love that word, refinition. We've got to really refine that in, and just make it so that like army control is done. I think all the decisions, all of the macro play is pretty on point though. Training more Carolians. We're sitting at 160 unit pop. I don't think France is going to push out, honestly, at this point. So as long as he keeps training villages, going to the 4th age, I think he's in a fine spot. I don't know why we need a 4th Rax. So he's training more villages as well. I think we're definitely going to need to focus on control groups. I think I want to do that. We might even do like a little bit of a session afterwards just about control groups and the best way to do control groups. So now two Falconets coming in, correct choice. All right, so now he needs to do, in my opinion, the best play here is drop an arsenal and go fully upgraded Carolians. That's my go-to play in this position, because you're now from late fortress, you're entering into the early 4th age. I don't think docks here are the right choice. I think you've got so much wood, you don't want to be spending it on fishing boats. It's a little bit too late. You've already got your 3 TCs up. You don't need to be booming that much more. Like, sure, it's not a bad idea, but in my opinion, it's not necessary, especially as Swedes. So SD still pulling ahead in score, about 2.5k points ahead. Hasn't got the mill upgrades yet, but has got 11 or 1200 gold. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to say to him, so if you build a church, you can actually research mercantilism, which is going to give you a whole bunch of experience, and you can send your factories with that.
That's a nice idea. Yeah. That's why they pay you the big bucks, Drongo.
All right, I'm muting Mike. Oh gosh. All right, so with mercantilism coming in, that should probably give him almost exactly 2 shipments. Now, keep in mind, with this military, I guess the idea is if we push with an age 4 military, it's probably going to be a lot easier. Do we have mercantilism coming in just yet? That church has now been built. We've aged up. There's the church. Oh, we got a monitor coming in. Ah, that's what you're doing with that. Very sneaky. So now mercantilism's coming in. This is going to give the 2 shipments. It should... Now, keep in mind, mercantilism gives a different amount of shipments depending on the time of the game. How much XP's come in. I also want to see the guard upgrade. I'm going to mention that, actually. Make sure that you don't forget your guard upgrade as well for your Carolians, as well as for your other units.
Yeah. That's... Okay. I'm going to try and distract with monitors and then go in, although there might not be time for that.
Yeah,
that's fine. Dragoon.
Yeah, your opponent's making a lot of Dragoons, so yeah, that's fine by me. With your monitors, just remember you can snipe enemy artillery with them, so do give that a go. All right, I'm going to mute Mike.
Okay.
All right, so
he's going to wait. Okay.
So he's doing the right thing. He needs to wait for his Carolians to come in, the Carolian upgrade, now that it's here. The factory has arrived as well, so let's see where he puts that, putting it in a relatively good spot. I probably would have put it a little bit further back, but that's okay. The main issue is that if gendarmes run in, they're just going to target that factory straight away. But he definitely needs to push. I'm actually going to let him know that. I think it's better that you push earlier rather than later, just because your opponent, if he gets to the 4th age and starts massing gendarmes, you're going to have a tough time, even with Carolians. So maybe
I shouldn't wait for the other factory. I was just.
Do you need a factory to fight? That's my question.
Okay.
Do you need a factory to fight?
No, I don't.
Exactly.
Okay, let's go.
Get him, boy.
Let's do it. Yeah. Okay.
All right. Let's see how he goes. So a lot of like double clicking and then moving up. So now we've got the monitor. It's moving up. Let's see if we can get that snipe shot off that we were talking about. Guard Corollians pushing out. I like this. Need to be pushing out more aggressively though. Oh, that Culverin just getting absolutely shredded.
Okay, that's a lot of.
But I'm just going to let him know. So you can easily pick that artillery off with your monitors. You just got to scout it out. So I just be
okay.
Yeah. So there you go. You just spotted them. So there, just be careful with them. Make sure you use the special ability. So you want to use that Q. There you go. There you go.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, they are very, 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 very sneaky.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. You should be able to kill the artillery as long as you focus it down. Yeah, with your Corollians, you got the range.
I think. Where am I? Oh, come on, guys.
Yeah, you got a lot of Corollians. Just make sure they're rallying towards the enemy's base, though. Oh, I think there might be a hole in his wall. All right, I think at this point you're just overrunning him massively. Well done.
I think I've probably just. Oh.
Well, hold on.
Yeah, factories.
That's why you were waiting for factories.
What's going on over here in the meantime? Am I still? Oh yeah. Okay, yeah.
Right, I'm going to mute Mike again.
I feel pretty far ahead.
We see the famous H2O second market being dropped down. I'm not sure if anybody caught that. Only 8 units can build a market at a time. The second market getting dropped down. Did you coach him to make more markets? Lowest versus life asking Riot Coke. That's a H2O special. That's a H2O special right there. Honestly, I feel like we've already seen like a pretty decent improvement. I wouldn't necessarily say improvement, just like, but the macro decisions are definitely there. Like knowing when to age, knowing when to build those extra town centers, knowing when to get the market upgrades was like really quite good as well. Like the fact that he shipped the 3 copper mines and then at the same time got amalgamation, because he said, okay, I'm shipping 3 copper mines, 6,000 coin. I need to be, mining this as efficiently as possible. Does he realize there's a second market yet? No, not yet. But like I think that like he's on the ball, and now we see the cuirassiers start.
Oops.
So we've got, how many cuirassiers is that? About 11. Cuirassiers did get nerfed in the most recent patch. So now the whole idea is to idle. So I'm gonna just let him know that. All right. So from this point, the best thing that you can do is really just try and idle your opponent, prevent them from gathering resources.
If I lose it from here, then I think I'm done with the game.
Yeah, yeah.
I think this is the point where I have to retire if I manage to. Oh, I've got 2 shipments this whole time as well. Okay, that's interesting.
So don't forget your upgrades. Yep. Oh, wow. Jeez. Well done. Well played.
Can I apologize on behalf of all 1,200 players? Because I swear that's not what a 1,200 game normally looks like. That was so bad. I'm sorry.
Honestly, you like. I'm sure you watch this back. You'll see my commentary. I'm really impressed with the decision making that you display throughout the game. I think it's on point 100%. I just think that there's very small things that we need to work on, and I think that it's best that we do that in a skirmish. So if you want to jump into a skirmish, we can definitely do that. So
okay.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what the map is. So you're up against Tokugawa, so Japan. A little bit of a difficult matchup. So if you want to type in the cheats, so a whole lot of love. And then speed always wins. Wonderful. And then just age up to age 3.
Yep.
Well, actually, just make it age 2. Just make it age 2.
Okay.
So the very first thing that I want to talk to you about is, and let's turn speed always wins off. Otherwise, because Tokugawa, so if you just type in speed always wins again, otherwise Tokugawa's just going to get annoying with his stuff. He just reached the second age already. Okay, so one of the things I really want to talk to you about is hotkeys and just how important it is, and just sort of get you in the frame of mind, just so that you know what you're doing with hotkeys. For me, so you're using the default hotkeys, which in my opinion are the best hotkeys. So that's, if you look in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, that's a QWE representing on your keyboard, representing those first 3 boxes in the bottom left-hand corner, and then ASD on your keyboard, and then ZXC for the next 3. So it makes it very easy for you to remember where those things are. So as an example, if you drop down a market right now with your villagers.
Okay.
So, yep, there you go. So you know that it's W. You can just click on a villager and press W. You know that that's a market. As long as you know where that market is, or memorize where that market is, it's going to be easy, because if your brain says I need a market, you just click a villager, W, click. So now so you know what the hotkey is for a torp, or to build a torp?
That's the only building hotkey that I use, the Q one. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Cool. So
I wouldn't have done that. I guess I know I need to, but yeah, it's in the moment.
All right. So let's see it. Build 4 torps around that coin mine with 4 different vills. Go.
Oh, with 4 different vills.
Yep.
Okay.
I like it. Nice. The second torp looks a little bit too far away, but I think you should be okay.
I know. I was trying to. I think it.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just
okay. So now, do you know what the hotkey is for a market? So not just clicking the market, but just finding the market on the map.
No.
Control W.
Okay. Control W. See, I never. So that's like I'm even gonna have to get used to pressing Control. I never press Control.
Right. Okay.
Ever.
So
no, I get.
Do you know?
When I'm setting I use Shift normally.
Right. Okay. So down the bottom left-hand corner with the market upgrades, hunting dogs is the first one. Gang saw is the second one. So you can use QWE to research those. That's a small thing. The main thing I really want to talk about is control groups. So I think control groups are the most important part, and it's going to really take your gameplay to the next level. So for me, when I get into a game, the very first thing I do on my keyboard is I hit F3. So press F3.
I pressed it.
Did you really?
Yeah, maybe. Shall I check my hotkeys?
No, it's okay. Try. Oh my god, look at that army. God, this is what I hate about. Oh, you're on hard. You're playing on hard difficulty.
Shall I do it? Shall I start a new one?
Yeah, let's start a new one on easy, because it just makes it so much easier to talk.
Okay.
Abigail McKinnon in chat saying, "Come verse me, Esty."
I tell him I did, and he rushed me with Aztec and won. So fuck off. No, with Inca. He rushed me with Inca, and it was just before I watched your video, and I got royally done. Right. Okay.
Abigail, it's good to see you here in the chat.
Well, yeah. I don't. Does he remember? It was nasty. If he gave Purify, I didn't have much chance. Okay. Right.
All right.
Sorry. What do I do?
So try pressing. No, you don't need to do that one yet.
Okay.
So just try pressing F1. Does anything happen?
No.
Nothing happens? Oh, F2 goes to the home city. Okay, that's interesting. I'm not sure why that's been unbound. That's okay. Those keys represent for me find Explorer and find Town Center. So what I want you to do is call your Explorer Control 1.
Okay. Right now for Town Center, I use Tab, by the way. I don't know if that's stupid or not, but I just find making vills, Tab Q is like, feels very natural.
Right, okay. So
I don't know.
I would go, so call your Explorer Control 1.
Okay.
And call your Town Center Control 5.
Okay.
Okay, so this is going to be your default for every single game. So you've got 1 for your Explorer and 5 for your Town Center. So double hit 1 on your keyboard. It centers the screen on your Explorer. And so send him around the map.
Okay.
Just shift click him around somewhere. And then just hit 5Q. So 5 will select the Town Center and we'll train a village. So now double click 1 with your Explorer. Or sorry, if you just double
click 1.
Or just press double 1 on. So
for the TC, does it, like, why is 5 better than tab? I mean, no, I'm fine to do that, but why would you recommend?
So I will explain it. We will get to that, I assure you.
Okay, so
if you hit double hit 1 again.
Yeah.
So let's pretend you're fighting a treasure guardian. You need to train a villager.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of hitting double 5Q, you just press 5Q. The 5Q and then back to 1 to reselect the Explorer. So the reason why I wouldn't use tab is because with tab, you're going to be selecting only 1 town center at a time. So at this point, let's chuck on a whole lot of love and speed always wins. Let's age up to the 3rd age and just go up with the covered wagon to the 3rd age.
Okay.
And make a TC out of that one. And then, so double...
I don't know why.
That's okay, that's all right. So double click your TCs. So if you, and then hit Control 5.
Okay.
And now your Explorer, if you double click 1, again, that'll take you back up to the Explorer. Let's pretend that that's your army. You're fighting at the moment someone. Now all you need to do is just press 5Q.
Nice.
Wait, what happened there? You went 5Q, but then we've got speed always wins on. Yeah. Oh, I've just lost... Oh no, I haven't lost quality. Yeah, so now if you press 5Q... Oh, hold on, I have lost quality. I'm just gonna disconnect and then keep watching. Alright, there we go, that should work. Right, so it's trained 2 villages at the same time. So as an example, in the last game, I told you, just go train 3 villages out of each town center, and you pressed tab Q, tab Q, tab Q, and it just trained 3 villages. So you had 2 villages being trained in one town center and 1 villager trained in another town center. So by doing this, if I just say train 3 villages, you press 5, Q, Q, Q.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm doing that for my rats, so I don't know why not for TC. Okay, that's useful. Thank you.
Yeah, so you can keep them all in a single single group. And then, so the next... So drop down a barracks and an artillery foundry as well, or drop down a barracks and like 3 artillery foundries.
Okay. So, I mean, I wouldn't normally use a hotkey here.
Yeah, let's give it a go. And then...
Oh, speed's not. Oh.
Yeah, speed's not on. That's okay. That's all right. So now we're going to focus on... So that's early game control groups. Now, you've also spawned in on the perfect map, which is Punjab, where you start with a 2nd explorer unit on this map, which is the little orchid, or the rickshaw orchid that's just above your town center. So what you'd do is you'd call him Control 2.
Okay.
And you would shift click him around the map, get him going wherever he wants, and that's what he does. So now you've got Explorer in your first group, secondary unit in your second group, and then your TCs are on Control 5. And now, once you've aged up to the 2nd age, you've dropped down your Raxes, they are Control 4.
Okay.
And then Control 4, and then so let's go back to our Explorer, hitting 1-1. Great, and now let's train, I want you to train 2 sets of villages and start a batch of Corollians.
Oh my god, it feels like I'm playing the piano move. Okay, right. So two batches of villages, yeah. And 5, no, and then 4. Oops. Oh no, E, okay. 4.
Wonderful.
Okay.
That's perfect.
Right.
So you've started a batch of Corollians. Now you've run out of pop space, so I want you to find an idle villager. Do you know what your find idle villager hotkey is?
No.
The button next to 1 is the default. Try pressing that. The little I don't know.
It's not.
Oh, that's not it?
Probably change.
Okay. You'll probably need to to configure that, I would keep it as that hotkey. I think that that's a really good hotkey for idle villages.
Okay. Do you know where I?
Yeah, it should just be up a little bit from where you were. Just up, 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 up. Okay, never mind. It's not there. I thought it would be maybe find units there. Find idle villages. Yep, yep.
Okay.
Oh, so it is.
Now I've made.
Is it that hotkey? It should be the one next to 1. Is that what it was?
It wasn't. Now I just made it that.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
All right, so now hit that button next to 1.
Okay, it's not working. Sorry.
That's
I don't know why.
That's all right.
I did ask it to.
Okay.
Okay, never mind.
It's kind of it's an important button, but we can focus on that another time. Let's drop down drop a whole bunch of torps down, just anywhere. They don't have to be anything special. You can use different villages as well, just so that they're all building at the same time. Now, are we in the 3rd age? We're in the 3rd age. Wonderful. Okay, so if you could train a falconet, a culverin, and some more Corollians as well.
Okay, so I thought. Oh, we didn't set that to 3. Okay,
yeah.
So that should be control 3. Right?
So I wouldn't put that as control 3. I would actually be putting that in the same control group with my barrackses. And the trick is that I actually use tab to go through each different military unit. For anybody who's watching, that wasn't your Discord. That was SD's Discord. Don't worry about it. Don't check your Discord. You didn't get a notification. So.
How do I put them in the same control group?
Shift and then 4.
Okay. Shift 4. Ah, wow. Okay.
And so now they've been added to your control group.
How do I know it's going to? How can I separate between them?
So you're going to press tab. So if you press 4, it'll naturally it should typically default to the artillery foundry, and then you press tab to cycle through each one. But it may be different for you because I know that you were using tab to go through your with your town centers. So
yeah, so I need to.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we can worry about that later. But for the moment, train up a culverin, train up a falconet, and just train up some Corollians. Train up a batch of.
So culverins and. Oh, but so I'm gonna have to do that.
You can just cancel one of the culverin and just put a falconet in instead. You don't have to use hotkeys for this one. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. All right. So now you've got your explorer that's on control group 1, but there becomes a point where your explorer isn't your primary military unit anymore, and it's in early colonial or early commerce age. So you want to actually move your explorer to control 2, and then your Corollians become control 1. And it changes throughout the game depending. Do you want to finish that batch of Corollians? See if you can get it in time. Good luck. Oh, he gets it. He gets it. All right. So
we got 4, but we'll say okay. We'll be nice.
So
right. So then,
control 1 is typically your Corollians. So let's go with So double click your Corollians and just call them control 1. Culverin control 3.
Okay.
Falconet, control 2. Okay, so you've now got your 5 unit groups. You've got 1, which is your main army. You've got 2, which is an artillery piece. 3, which is the anti-artillery piece. 4, military production. 5, town centers. So these are the easiest keys to hit. There are other ways that you can do it if you've got macro mouses or if you're comfortable with other keys, but typically this is the most standard way to do it. This is the way I do it. So let's take these units into our opponent's base without drag boxing. We're going to individually use the control groups and tell them to all come over there together. So
okay.
Wonderful. So one of the things I would avoid doing is instead of clicking on the minimap like that, just move them a small distance. Because what happens is your forces may run into your opponents. And so as long as you move them a small distance, they're not going to walk into your opponent. They're just going to stand there. So now what we're going to do is...
that was really fun doing
that. So what you're going to do... So this is the best way for you to be able to micro your army. So Stick all of your cannons into bombard mode. Great, so they're automatically going to fire. So with your culverins, they've got a 6-second cooldown. They're the most important part of your army. As long as your culverins are alive, you should be okay. But this is really how you need to keep your army. And then you need to be focusing. So your Corollians, all you really want to do with your Corollians is you're focusing on making sure that they are just firing, killing the enemy units, and they're blocking enemy units from attacking your artillery. So now that the enemy units are coming in, you've got to block for your culverin. Okay, never mind. That's all right. And then so what you're going to do is use 2, your artillery piece, shoot at the sepoys, and 3, which is the culverin, you're going to have them shooting at the enemy artillery. So it's about finding those enemy artillery and doing it. So there's a lot more advanced micro techniques, but this is probably the most important part of it when it comes to army management. So I think that for you, being able to sort of master this, just this small thing is going to increase your game so much more, because one of the things I did notice is you had a bit of trouble bringing all your army together. There was quite a bit of it. So it can be tough, like trying to micro everything together and put them all in the same control group. So I think that going for something like this is going to be a lot easier for you.
I've noticed the longer a game goes on, the more likely I am to lose always. Like I really, really struggle when it becomes like big army late game. I think that's...
So one of the things that I've been doing is I keep 50 Corollians in my main army. Any extra Corollians, I just send them on raids. Your opponent's going to have to deal with them. And it's extra APM that they're going to have to deal with. You just send them anywhere. Just send them on, like, to the corner of the map. It doesn't really matter. Just that's all you really need to do. So 50 Corollians is enough to protect your artillery, and then your artillery do the work. But that's essentially the philosophy with it. So I want you to build a mill. I want you to build a plantation. I want you to build an arsenal as well.
Okay. Oh yeah, I never built an arsenal before. So a mill, a plantation. Oops, what am I? Oh.
I think you might be selecting all.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And an arsenal as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Z.
Arsenal.
Martin Viking in the chat asking, what are we doing? We're doing a coaching session at the moment, Martin Viking. We're coaching Esty Pesty, who is the #1 gifted sub donator on the channel. Donator? I don't know if that's the right word, but he gives a lot of subs on the channel, and I reached out to him and asked him, would you like to be doing some coaching? Because a couple of people had said to me they really enjoyed watching the coaching sessions in the past. So I think we're going to be doing a couple more coaching sessions on the day. I know that there's a couple of people in the chat at the moment that are interested in coaching, so I might be reaching out to them as well, just see if they're interested to do it. All right, so
yeah.
What I want you to do, so this is something I do. So I think the hotkey for a mill is Control-I. So you can try pressing that, but it's a little bit hard. Like you kind of need 2 hands to do it. So I don't actually do it. I just go and find my mill. So typically what I'll do is your mills are going to be around town centers. So I'll just press 5-5, and then I'll click my mill, and then I'll just press Q. And that's probably the most efficient way that you can do that without like pulling your second hand off your mouse, pressing Control-I, and then researching that upgrade. And the same goes for your plantation. So your plantation obviously is a little bit far from your town center, but typically I'd be doing the same thing, going there and then hitting Q. With your arsenal hotkey, I think it's Control-X. Try pressing Control-X. It is perfect. So that is an important hotkey. I use that one quite a lot. Often I'll forget. I'll be pressing Control-Z and it doesn't work. So it's a really important thing, especially for Swedes, because we get advanced arsenal for free. So you really want to be taking advantage of it. But obviously you can see that it's mirrored here in the arsenal, the same as it's mirrored in the market, the same as it's mirrored everywhere, because we've got the default hotkeys. For those players that play with legacy hotkeys, all of these arsenal upgrades have got like different commands or like different letters depending on the civilization that you play and all that kind of stuff. But for us, it's very easy. So if you want to upgrade your Corollians, as long as you know the upgrades that affect them, it's very easy for you to just press YTRE without having to click them. And typically that's the order that you want to upgrade them in, because speed is the most important thing. and then you're doing the attack and then the health and then the melee attack. But yeah, that is it for me. That's the best thing that you should be focusing on. Control groups, and then working on those hotkeys, really making sure that you're using them where possible, or at least trying to learn to use them, begin building efficiency with them. No Firo asking in chat, how do you show hotkeys? So SD, if you just want to go in and quickly show how to show hotkeys, it's in the options. We've gone a little bit choppy here. Don't worry, guys. It's not your stream buffering. I'm just going to try going stop watching, and then we're going to go and rewatch over here. Okay, so under UI options, it's under UI options. And then yeah, if you just hit apply. And then down the bottom, you can see it's got display hotkey commands on the bottom left-hand side. So it's just that option there. So there's no mod needed or anything like that. It's just display hotkey commands. So turn that one on. Definitely helps out. No worries, no Firo. All right. Well, did you have any questions for me, SD? Anything that you wanted to ask me? Anything you wanted my opinion on with regard to the way that you performed, or other things that you could improve on?
Yeah, well, I felt that like it was extremely choppy, and I was looking at my micro much less than I would. I think the main thing I'd like kind of to know, and I think it's something that affects all players at my level, is just what's the best way of improving and working on those hotkeys and control groups to make them start feeling more natural? Because I found every time I've tried to do it, I've just gone on huge losing streaks and kind of lost confidence and given up because just getting used to it. I mean, is there any kind of way you recommend of just getting into that habit?
Yeah, 100%. So what I'll get you to do is I'll get you to exit out of this game, and we'll start another skirmish. And so this is a really good way that you can improve as a player as well. I want you to just to play the first 5 minutes exactly like you would in a multiplayer game, but I want you to only use the hotkeys. I don't want you to do any like manual clicking. Like you can do manual clicking where you need to, but I don't want to see you building a torp clicking. I don't want to see you build a Rax. So grab your TC, get that out there.
Okay, so control 5, control 1, and then okay, this is going to be embarrassing. Okay.
You can restart because you forgot to make a villager.
Oh boy. This is I immediately like I'm now only thinking about hotkeys and like forgetting everything else.
Yeah, it really comes down to just practice.
So now I need to go 5. Okay. Oh no, 1 is the explorer. See, this is I don't know if this is just me or okay, I'll try and do this. Or if now this is 1. Okay. I don't know if other people like struggle with this or it's just me. Just like all of a sudden, like I just feel like I've got no control over my hands and kind of.
All right. Do you want to try training a villager now as well without going back to the TC?
Okay.
Looks good. Oh god, you're getting absolutely. Yeah. He's coming to help you out.
Aztec was the. Oh, is he? Oh, thanks, dude.
He's helping you out. AI just doing AI things.
That was very generous of him. And then, oh yeah, I've just totally ignored the ID reels, obviously now. So 5, 1, then 1. Okay. Like terrible.
I think we upload this and call SD Pesty gets absolutely destroyed by easy AI.
Yeah, I think I might. This part, I might be ruining your YouTube video at this point. Like aimlessly moving things around the map with no real direction.
No, it's not a problem at all. Look, I think the most important thing is honestly just even if you can spend like 10 minutes or 15 minutes just doing this, it's going to make you feel so much. It's going to make you feel so much more comfortable with the civilization. Just by spending, this 10, 15 minutes, or not with the civilization, sorry, with the hotkeys. So, as long as you can...
Would you like integrating one part of it into the game at a time, rather, or just saying, okay, I'm going to commit to using control groups? Like, for example, like just for the next like 20 games, use the army hotkeys, like the 2, 3, 4... the 1, 2, 3 to move the army around, but do the rest like normal, like until it's useful. Would that I mean, would that be a good way to go, or you wouldn't do it that way?
I would say that it sounds good, but I think it's wishful thinking because I feel like you might just fall into bad habits. Acacia of wood, the better to burn you with. That's what Cotamoke said. Yeah, I think that's wishful thinking. In that it's unlikely to, or it will be very hard to continue to add those. I think that it's better to just jump in the deep end and try and adjust your play style. Try and really focus and hone in on the early game. As long as you can focus and hone in on that early game, I think it's going to be very easy for you to pick up. I wouldn't be surprised in less than 30, 40 games that you'd be able to use hotkeys perfectly.
Okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to be leaving the world of the rank ladder for a couple of weeks and trying that.
Wonderful. That's yeah. I mean, you don't have to leave the ranked ladder because you can always just go back to playing the way that you normally play. But I would definitely encourage you really just sit down, play against the AI. One of the things I do a lot offline, like I was playing Dutch maybe 3 or 4 days ago. I spent 3 hours playing against the AI because I was just practicing build orders. So don't be afraid to do that. You don't have to always play against real people. You don't always have to put your elo up for grabs. Yeah, do not be afraid to just play a few offline games, and especially focus on your hotkeys.
Okay, awesome. That's I'm definitely going to try that.
Well, I guess we can call it here. I've just read a message in chat from Cal Hacks that said, "Morning, Keaton. Just wanted to say hello and wish you a good long weekend and Easter." Well, thank you, Cal Hacks. Thank you very much. And for anybody out there who's celebrating Easter this weekend, happy Easter to you. And happy Easter to you, Cal Hacks. Esty, I'm not sure if you're celebrating Easter, but if you are, happy Easter.
Thank you very much.
And
I wonder if anyone into your stream halfway through and just thought you'd got very bad.
I wouldn't be surprised. The quality is quite good. So it almost looks like it's like a 1-for-1 stream. Like I'm watching you on Twitch at 1080p. So yeah, it's really good. But I guess I just want to thank you for coming along and for putting yourself out there. I know it can be hard in front of so many people because not only are there a couple of hundred people watching it live on Twitch, but this is going to go out to YouTube where potentially tens of thousands of people can see it as well. So yeah, and also once again, just thank you for your contribution, continued contribution to the stream. As you guys know, I do want to make this a full-time thing, and SDPesty is helping me do that because his support enables me to really fund this. The microphone that I'm speaking to you on now has been paid with from subscriptions that he and many other generous people have donated or given to the stream. So once again, thank you so much, SD. Thanks to all the big donators and all the subscribers and all the viewers out there.
Thank you very much. I really enjoyed it, and it was sounds like cash for favors now. But no, I really appreciate that. That was like I'm literally like sweating like I've got in from a job. That was, but I really appreciate it. That was really good fun. So thank you very much.
No worries. All right. Well, we might leave it here, and I'll definitely talk to you later. And stream, I think we might continue on with some more games. What do you guys say? All right, SDPesty. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Thanks a lot. Thanks. Bye.
A few moments later.
I mean, it's oh shit. Let me show you how to keep the dice rolling when you're doing that thing over there, Drungo. Hey. Oh shit.
Hey, let's go!